Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Joe, and it's time for a Puck with Joe. Let me just turn this music down. Here we go. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope you guys are having a fantastic start to the day. See you guys jumping in here. I love it. Thanks for being here. Let's make some freaking money. You are so right, Rick. It's going to be a great day to make some money on the ice. We've got 11 games on the ice today. So much action happening. Now, that long shot parlay didn't go anywhere yesterday. We got the Rangers on the money line. The Islanders and Leafs won over 6, and Dallas was not able to get it done in regulation. But if you took the two best bets with the Columbus Blue Jackets plus 1.5, on that puck line, we got the win there, and the New York Rangers on the money line. So made a little bit of money. I was really shocked we didn't see all of these games stay under that total. We saw 3 of the 4 go over. That was the most shocking thing for me. Now, if you watched the Calgary game tonight, you guys, or last night, you saw Johnny Gaudreau got the standing ovation to start the game as soon as he touched that puck. He definitely got booed. Words of security had to help take him out. I don't think security had to take him out because Calgary was being rowdy. I think they had to take him out just because there was a lot of people waiting to see Johnny Gaudreau after that game. I love that you guys made money yesterday. Congratulations. I saw so many people DM me their plays, their parlays after they win. I love to see you guys keep DMing me those. I love to see your wins. We're going to have a nice parlay tonight. I'll probably make a couple multiple parlays, so you guys stick around. Let's make some freaking money. Like I said, 11 games on the ice today, so we're going to have to get to this pretty quick here. So we're not taking 5 hours on the show, but the first game on the board, we have the Boston Bruins taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Now, this one kicks off at 7 o'clock Eastern. Total sitting solid at 6. We know Boston's going to come in an incredible favorite in this one. Minus 390 I'm seeing right now on the money line. Now, if you have faith in the Montreal Canadiens, which is going to be a huge leap of faith if you do, they're plus 320 here. Now, we have Boston rolling in here, winning their last 5 games. They've only allowed 2 goals in those last 4. They're doing absolutely phenomenal defensively. Swarman expected in goal, though, for them tonight, and not Omar here. Swarman is still an outstanding goalie. He's got a 2.26 goals against average. When we look at Omar, it is coming in under that 2. Sam Montembeault is expected here for the Montreal Canadiens. He's got a 3.14. I really like what we've seen out of Montembeault. He's been able to have some really strong games. I think this one with the total sitting here at 6, I lean to that under. I just struggle to see Montreal being able to score on the Boston Bruins. Kind of another way you could take that, though, is looking at Boston's team total. We know Boston is so strong on the power, on the penalty kill, the power play, the face-off. This team is playing absolutely phenomenal hockey on both sides of the puck. They're averaging that 3.8 goals per game. So taking their team total over 3.5, I think, is a really solid way to go. We know this team can put up 4 goals. Now, this is a battle of the Atlantic with the Boston Bruins sitting first and the Montreal Canadiens sitting 8th in the Atlantic. Another way you could look at Montreal's team total, taking it under. Montreal's a team that is going to struggle to score in this game. They're averaging that 2.57 goals per game. And now the Boston Bruins have won their last 7 as a favorite versus the Montreal Canadiens. Just going to look to see if we're getting any value at all in regulation. I don't think it'll be enough value for me to take them in regulation, but it was one thing I didn't really look at. If you want to take them on the puck line, you got to lay 2.5 in this one. So I definitely do not like that. In regulation, yeah, it is minus 250 here for the Boston Bruins. So you know that is completely unbettable. The first period over 1.5 might be an interesting way to go, because in that we know it's going to be the goals coming in by Boston. Now, total goals out of Boston here over 3.5 is still juiced at minus 152. So finding the value in this game is a hard one to do. Because of that, I don't love this game, but I do think we look at the Boston Bruins. They have covered the puck line in their last 4 as a favorite. Those puck lines have been 1.5, not 2.5. Taking Montreal plus that 2.5, what are we getting there on that puck line? Minus 150. There's no value for me in this game. I think Boston is a team you want to throw into a parlay. I wouldn't take them laying the full 2.5 in the parlay. I'd take them laying the 1.5 or their team total over 3.5. We know if they're going to get over that team total, they have to cover at least the minimum puck line at 1.5, but you're only getting value if you take that up to 2.5. So 10 of the last 15 meetings have hit that under as well. 4 gone over, and we've got 1 push. So give me the under. I think the best way to go in that, other than the Boston Bruins team total over, because I really do think this is a 4-1 style game. They've been holding opponents, like I said, only 2 goals in the last 4 games. The Florida Panthers and the Pittsburgh Penguins kick off at 7 o'clock Eastern tonight. Spencer Knight expected in goal for the Florida Panthers. He's got a 3.06 goals against average. And we have Jari expected here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's got a 2.65. Now, when we look at the Penguins, they are strong at home, going 13-5-4 at home this season. And the Florida Panthers struggling here on the road, going 11-5-2. We look at 2 teams that are so strong offensively, both teams averaging over 3 goals per game, with the Florida Panthers averaging that 35.3 shots on goal, 3rd best overall in the league, and the Pittsburgh Penguins aren't far behind them at 32.2. Now, the Florida Panthers come in here on a back-to-back. They're off that loss last night to the Rangers. So glad we took the Rangers there on the money line. We paid the juice at -140, but definitely worth that bet. Now, with the Florida Panthers on the back-to-back, they struggle in this situation. They've lost their last 7 as an underdog on that second leg of a back-to-back. They're also 0-5 in their last 5 games playing on that back-to-back, and they struggled against the Metropolitan Division, losing their last 5. Also struggled in Pittsburgh, losing 6 of their last 26 games in Pittsburgh. I don't see the Florida Panthers coming out here and getting the win. Looking at the Pittsburgh Penguins here on the money line, they're 2 juiced at -155. I would take them here in regulation. I don't see this one going to overtime. The Penguins come in with 1 day's rest here. They're strong in this situation. Like I said, this is a strong home team. Home ice has been a huge advantage between these two. Now, Pittsburgh comes in off that loss in OT to the New Jersey Devils. They did a phenomenal job shutting down the New Jersey Devils. We know that game, it came hard and fast, that first goal by Jack Hughes of the Devils against the Pittsburgh Penguins. I was riding the under and riding the Penguins, riding the Penguins in that one. So I lost a bet of the Penguins to get that win over the Devils, but did get that under. But I was sweating it because we left that first period tied up 1 apiece, with the Pittsburgh Penguins scoring with around 8 minutes left in that first period. Looking at these first period over 1.5, you guys still been making us absolutely phenomenal money. I don't think I'd take it in this one. I just don't trust the Florida Panthers enough in this one on the back-to-back. I think this is Pittsburgh's game all day. I'm going to take them here in regulation. The last time these teams played, it was a 4-1 win for the Pittsburgh Penguins as well. They are not good versus the Eastern Conference. You are right, but I cannot trust here the Panthers on that second leg of a back-to-back. This team is not good off of no rest. Now, strong trends to the under when these 2 teams match up. We got a total of 6.5. I'm not going to get there with a total. We know how easily these 2 teams can make this a higher scoring one. Spencer Knight in here for the Florida Panthers. He could let a couple more slip than we're hoping for. So if you like the totals, the under has hit 4 of the last 5 meetings in Pittsburgh and 7 of the last 10 meetings overall, with 1 push, both to those unders. I can't get there with this game, though. I don't think I will hit it, because I could see this being a 4-3 or a 3-2 style game. The next game on the board, we have the LA Kings taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, this is a really interesting matchup. The Kings coming in as small favorites, and this is a small favorite over the Philadelphia Flyers, only at -135. I do not understand this line. We know the Kings are a much better team than the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, the Flyers are coming off a loss to the Winnipeg Jets. It was a 5-2 loss. And the LA Kings beat the Blackhawks in their last game, but it was a 2-1 win. So in my mind, they kind of really got beat by the Blackhawks. How did they have such a low scoring, not dominating win over the Chicago Blackhawks? It gives me a little worries and concerns here in this matchup. It's almost like the Kings played down to their opponents of the Blackhawks, and we're not used to seeing the Kings play down. Now, the Kings have struggled against the Metropolitan Division as well. They haven't won one of their last 7 versus the Metropolitan Division, but they've won 7 of their last 10 versus the Philadelphia Flyers. The Flyers did win this last matchup back in December, 4-2, and they covered the puck line in their last 13 games following a loss. Now, we're getting no value here on the Philadelphia Flyers on that puck line at +1.5. You're going to pay way too much juice on that. They've won their last 4 off a loss. So for the Philadelphia Flyers here, I think a great way to take this is on the puck line for a parlay, plus that 1.5 and suck up that juice in the parlay. But for the full game, I just can't get there. And I can't trust the Kings enough on that puck line. I don't think if the Kings win this is a blowout win. So I'm struggling to find value. I'm struggling to get behind the Kings in this one after that performance versus the Blackhawks. I just can't get there. But I do think I can look at the under 6 in this one. I'm looking at what we've seen out of these teams offensively as of late, and I'm not seeing enough out of these offenses. I really do think this is a game where the LA Kings play a stronger defensive game like we saw against the Blackhawks, and we see an offensive game in here. Carter Hart expected in for the Philadelphia Flyers. We know how many strengths he has. So Phoenix Cobley here for the LA Kings. So give me the under 6. The under's hit in 8 of the last 12 meetings in Philadelphia, and just with what these two offenses are doing, you look at their last couple games, there hasn't been these goals coming in. So I'm pretty confident in the under 6 in this one. Under and Pitt on the money line for you in that last one. I like it trending to that under as well. It's a great way to take that. The Sabres are coming up. We're going to talk about that. Big hi to you out there, Anthony. You guys, again, I appreciate each and every one of you for being here today. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It greatly helps me. I appreciate it so much. Now, it just helps the algorithms, helps more people find the show. So the Minnesota Wild and the Tampa Bay Lightning kick off at 7 o'clock Eastern here. +140 here for the Minnesota Wild, -165 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Marc-Andre Fleury expected in goal for the Minnesota Wild. And I love this because I think we've got elite goaltending on both sides of the puck in this one with Andre Vasilevsky expected here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. We got a total of 6.5. So this total seems high, but man, I still have to lean over. We know how strong both of these teams have been offensively, both teams averaging over 3 goals per game. This is the last game of a road trip here for the Minnesota Wild. They've lost their last 2. They're going to want to get this win. They're going to be digging deep. They're going to be explosive offensively. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, they've lost their last 2 games. They want to get things right here. This is their first home game off a road trip. It was a 5-game road trip. They went 3-2 on that road trip. And this is my biggest concern for backing the Tampa Bay Lightning today. First game home off a road trip, and who is on deck? We have a battle of the Atlantic on deck on Thursday as the Tampa Bay Lightning welcome in the Boston Bruins. I know they want to beat the Minnesota Wild, but this could be a slight look-ahead situation. Coming home off a road trip, I can't back the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yes, they're 5-2 in their last 7 overall, and the Wild have struggled in Tampa Bay, going 2-6 in the last 8 meetings. But the Wild come in here off rest again. This team has been getting incredible scheduling spots. They've had a 2 days rest. They're 15-7 in their last 22 on 15 days rest. They've also won 7 of the last 8 meetings over the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're 6-0 in the puck line as an underdog against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So tight games. I can't grab them +1.5 except for parlay reasons because, again, way too much juice. I am flirting with putting the Wild +1.5 in a parlay and then hitting the Flyers +1.5 in a parlay, just parlaying those two together because I think both of these games are really tight. While I think the Wild and the Tampa Bay Lightning is tight to the over, I think the Flyers and the Kings game is tight to that under. So heads up on that. Flyers +1.5 and Wild +1.5. I love parlayed together. You're going to get some plus money out of that. So I just look at the Wild and the Lightning. Defenses have been struggling as of late. We've seen more goals coming in than they average. We do have two elite goalies here. It's going to be a fun game. I think it's a high scoring one. If I had to take a side, I lean on the Minnesota Wild here with the value at plus 140. I think this last game of a road trip versus the Lightning off a road trip with the Bruins on deck is a perfect way to get some plus money in this. The last time the Wild won this was 5-2 at home, or 5-1 at home. They won the last matchup earlier in January. Oh, I love that. Marc-Andre Fleury. I did not know Marc-Andre Fleury versus the Tampa Bay Lightning had a record of 21-10. Stevie, if that is right, I'm doubling down on the Wild. I'll check that stat out after, but I do think this is going to be a great one. And overtime for this game, I definitely could see it. This could be 3-3 apiece and go to that overtime. It's why I'm leaning on taking that over as well. I think this one is a 4-3 game. Either way you slice it, but the value is on the Wild. Oh, you're gonna go with Tampa and the Clippers. You can still talk about the Clippers. I like it. Take the Clippers in Tampa. Okay. I wish you all the best, Gore, and I think it's probably a nice way to go. I just have a feeling the Wild have this one on their last game of the road trip. Red Wings, Sharks and Red Wings. We're gonna jump into that game in a couple. Marc-Andre Fleury, you're agreeing with me. I love when Fleury's in net. If Marc-Andre Fleury was not in goal tonight, I would be probably staying off the Wild, looking at Tampa. I just don't like the scheduling spot for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I'm going to take the plus money with the Wild. Braden Point is always due for that anytime goal. We know how phenomenally well he has been playing when Pittsburgh was good. Okay, Sabres in the under. We're going to look at a couple more. We've got all 11 games, so let's get moving. Taylor was talking about the Sharks and the Red Wings. I tell you, someone's got to win this game. The Sharks coming in here. James Reimer expected in goal. He's got a 3.26 goals against average. Ville Husso expected here for the Red Wings. He's got a 3.03. The Sharks, underdogs on the road, plus 130, minus 150 for the Red Wings. The Red Wings sitting 11-10-1-2 at home this season, and the Sharks struggling on the road, 9-13-1-1. The Sharks are 1-4 in the last 5 meetings in Detroit, just struggling there. The Red Wings have to win this at home in this game. Is this a game I want to put money on? Do I want to take the Red Wings at minus 150? Absolutely not. They won the last matchup 7-4 versus the San Jose Sharks. Could it happen again? Absolutely. Again, I just don't want to get there at minus 150. I think the only way I can take this one is take it over that 6.5. Both of these teams have absolutely been struggling to keep the puck out of the back of the net. Both teams are averaging right on those 3 goals per game. We've seen them put up some goals against stronger opponents than each other. So the Sharks averaging that 3 goals per game on the dot, and the Red Wings averaging that 3.04. Defensively is what the problem is. They're both allowing over 3 goals per game, with the Sharks allowing that 3.73 and 30.7 shots on goal, and the Detroit Red Wings allowing 3.33 and 30.9 shots on goal. So give me the over 6.5. The only way I want to bet this, I don't see any value at taking the Red Wings here at home. They have lost 8 of their last 9 as favorites against opponents on a losing streak. So with the Sharks rolling in here, losing the last 2, mind you, they went to shootout with the Boston Bruins. The Bruins just not in a good scheduling spot in that one. But the Red Wings just lost to the Flyers. So again, we got 2 crappy teams. Just give me the over in this one. Robert going with the Tampa Bay first period on that puck line, or 0.5 over. I like it there. Okay. Yeah, it's hard. The Leafs, there's some of these teams that you want to take the over in that first period. They're not coming in, and then they're cashing on these other games where they really shouldn't be. So let's look at the next matchup. The Vegas Golden Knights are taking on the New Jersey Devils. Now, Vegas coming in here at plus 145, the New Jersey Devils at minus 170. Total has dropped from 6.5 to 6. I tell you, I wish this total was a little bit easier to bet. We've got Logan Thompson and Vanek, both expected in goal for these two teams. We've got explosive offenses. I was expecting this total to sit at that 6.5. I still do think, even though we've had the movement going down to 6, that we can still take it over 6. I don't trust these teams to keep it under. And it's not that I don't trust their defenses. We've got strong, explosive offenses in this game that are able to find the back of the net. You guys know we've been riding Jack Hughes for that anytime goal. He got one versus the Pittsburgh Penguins on the weekend. Open it up so hard and fast. I think we got to take Jack Hughes here again. I don't see the Vegas Golden Knights defense being able to slow him down. He's just been rolling so hot. Now, the one thing both of these teams do is they're really strong at limiting those opponents' abilities to get these shots on goal, especially the Devils. They're holding opponents to 28 shots on goal per game, which really helps out Vanek's game here. We've seen Vegas only allowing that 2.88 and 30.1 shots on goal. Vegas is a stronger road team this season than they are at home. They've gone 15-4-1-1 on the road. The Devils sitting 12-10-1-1 at home. This is a hard game. This is going to be the best game on the ice tonight. With Vegas coming in at plus 145, I have to grab them here with that value. I love what we've seen out of the Devils. Don't get me wrong, but I just love what we see out of Vegas on the road. There is nothing that the Devils are doing that I don't love at the moment. This one is coming down to a little bit of puck luck, and I have to grab the value on Vegas. Might be the wrong way to go, but I like them here. I just don't find the value in the Devils tonight. So another puck line I really like that you could add into a parlay is Vegas plus 1.5. You're not getting value straight up, but I do think this is a really tight game. The Devils have won 6 of their last 7 overall. They've won their last 4 games at home following an overtime win, 2 which they are off. They won this battle last season 3-2. I expect a higher scoring one, though, in this one. I lean to that over. I think this is another game that could go to OT, 3-3 apiece with what we're able to get out of these offenses here. So they just did lose to the Arizona Coyotes on the road. Vegas is one of these teams that is really interesting. They lose to some of these bad teams really badly, and then they step up in certain situations. So they're a tricky team to judge what they're going to do. But again, I'm with Rick here. I'm liking this one to go to OT. I think if we take a couple of these dogs today where these games are going to be tight and parlay them plus 1.5 on that puck line, take 2 of them, whichever 2 you feel more confident about, then you're going to get some even money on them because it's too highly juiced right now to take them straight up on that puck line. Jack Hughes for 2 points. I like it. At plus 161. How can we not do that? So it's definitely going to be a great one here. It's going to be a fun game. Okay, let's move on to the next game here. I'm seeing your comments, you guys. Yeah, Vegas is struggling at the moment, but I think they really bring it here against the Devils tonight. Okay. Let's look at the next game on the board. We have the Buffalo Sabres taking on the St. Louis Blues. Now, the St. Louis Blues have owned the Buffalo Sabres. This team is playing so well at the moment. They've won their last 3 games. They're off a big win in overtime over the Dallas Stars. Didn't expect that coming in, but they're on the back-to-back, and they struggle on that second leg of the back-to-back. They've lost their last 5 games on a back-to-back and have failed to cover the puck line in each and every one of those. I don't trust them here to get the win. Now, they did win this matchup back in November. It was a 6-2 win for the Buffalo Sabres. I think this, though, with the Sabres only winning 1 of the last 14 meetings in St. Louis, is going to be a struggle of a game. Best way to take this, I think this is another 3-4 style game. I'm taking the first period over 1.5. I'm going to take the game over 6.5. I'm surprised it dropped down from that 7 there. But I think the Sabres and the Blues definitely in that first period, go over 1.5. I think we see 2 quick, fast goals in this one. We got Jordan Binghamton expected in goal and Lankaken here for the Buffalo Sabres. So I think this is going to be a really high-scoring, interesting game on the board. Now, this is their last home game here for the St. Louis Blues before they head off on a road trip. And like I said, it's a back-to-back for the Buffalo Sabres here. They've been strong. They won 8 of their last 11 games following a win. They're also 9-3 in their last 12 versus the Western Conference. So both these teams have their strength. Sabres just struggle in St. Louis, though. But when we look at the Blues against Atlantic Division, they've lost their last 4 games as a favorite against the Atlantic Division. So I don't know how much trust I can have in the St. Louis Blues as well. Also 3-8 in their last 11 versus the Atlantic, but they're coming in rested into this game against a team they always know they beat at home, going 4-1 in their last 5 games, playing on that 2 days rest. So this could be a game the Blues pull it off. We're getting them here at -130 over the Buffalo Sabres. Yeah, Binghamton really struggled, and he has been struggling in some of these games. They lost that one to the Blackhawks. That was a 5-3 loss, not what we wanted to see. I don't know if I would take the under 7 at -160 here. I really do think this is a 3-4 style game. If you like one team more than the other to get these goals today, definitely something you can look up to. I don't understand 1 point to cover 2. Not sure exactly what you're meaning with that comment, Robert. Sorry, I might just be having a moment here. But I do think this one goes over. If you're looking at that first period, let's just see if there is value in that first period. It might be one that you're going to have to parlay with another first period over. The book's really catching up to these first periods, just flying over this total. Yeah, the first period over is hitting at -174 to that over. So too highly juiced to take by itself. I think the over for the full game is where you want to go. You could buy that up to 2. You might get the push there. Yeah, the Binghamtons, that was right. It was not looking pretty in that one. Okay, so that first period you're getting over 2. Yeah, so I'm getting over 1.5 at -174, which again, I could only throw into a parlay. If you're getting the over 2 and you're getting good value, I do think it is a strong way to go. You might get the push. I don't think you lose the bet. So it should be a solid way to go in that game. But I think taking the over 6.5, the last 6 meetings have gone over between these two. And the Blues trending to that over, coming in rested. This team really steps up offensively. We know the Buffalo Sabres step up offensively too, with the Blues going 4-0-1 in their past 5, playing on that 2 days rest. Let's just look at the Buffalo Bills. There I go. The Buffalo Sabres and the St. Louis Blues team totals here, and to see what value we can get on these team totals, because it might be the way to go. Now, if you like this Buffalo Sabres to get over their team total of 3.5, you're getting +140. Great value there. If you like the St. Louis Blues, and it's the way that I lean, if I'm feeling more confident, it's a home team on that rest who has dominated this matchup to get 4 goals. Over 3.5 for the St. Louis Blues is coming in at +100, and I love that bet there. So that is going to be my favorite bet of this game at +100. I think there's so much value. If you think the Sabres are going to get this one tonight, you think that they score 4 goals in this one, you are cashing big if they do it +140. Okay, guys, let's move on. Yeah, you at the casinos. I'm looking at the FanDuel. I always get my odds from FanDuel because they seem really even. If I look at some of the books that I bet on, I just don't want to give you guys lines that you might not be able to get. So, because my books mainly up here in Canada, I look at the FanDuel Canada and the FanDuel American, try to give you the FanDuel American odds on these games. Blues first period on that puck line. I like it at plus 160. The Blues off rest. They can definitely come out and get that money. And Anthony, I love both teams to score in that first period. Way to find value in that first period. We've talked about this. If the over 1.5 is too juice, you think both teams score at plus 130. Absolutely money in that first period, Anthony. Way to go on grabbing that. Let's look at the next game on the board, you guys. We've got we got a lot more games to go over, and then we'll do the recap already at 30 minutes. The Winnipeg Jets and the Nashville Predators. This is at 8 o'clock Eastern. We got a total of 5.5. I told you guys, I hate betting these under 5.5. No one's reminded me today that there's a 5.5 on the board and don't bet it under. So I really do lean to the under in this one. Connor Hellebuyck isn't as strong on the road as he is at home, but I do expect a strong performance out of him. This is a battle of the Central, with the Winnipeg Jets sitting second in the Central and the Nashville Predators sitting fifth here. I think the Winnipeg Jets have the opportunity to pull off the upset here on the road. They are the favorites at minus 120, but I always think a road team pulls off an upset when they beat a team like the Nashville Predators. Nashville sitting strong at home, going 12-7-2-1 at home. Now, this is going to be a tight game, though. We've seen the Nashville Predators cover the puck line in their last 9 as an underdog. They're not getting blown out of the water. This is another one where another tight game, you could take the Nashville Predators plus 1.5, parlay them with the Vegas Golden Knights plus 1.5. You're going to make some money. So look at these underdogs today. Look at which ones that you like on that puck line for really tight, close games, and grab them plus that 1.5 and parlay it with 1 or 2 other teams to make some money here. Now, the Jets have dominated. They've won 7 of the last 10 meetings over the Nashville Predators. They've won their last 2 games. This is their last game of a road trip. Nashville's coming off a nice win over the LA Kings. That was a 5-3 win. They're also 4-1 in their last 5 home games. So they have been playing really solid. But I do think the Winnipeg Jets can pull off this road win here. The under, strong trends towards it, with 5 of the last 8 meetings going under the posted total, with one of those being a push. So I do like the under in this one. I think it's a solid way to go, even though I hate these under 5.5s. But I think the best bet is just taking the Preds on that puck line plus 1.5 and parlaying it with another team, or taking the Winnipeg Jets here on the money line, because I do think they get this win tonight. The next game on the board, the Anaheim Ducks and the Arizona Coyotes. Talk about a really crappy game here, unless you're a Ducks or Coyotes fan. The Ducks plus 115, minus 135 for the Coyotes, total 6.5. Now, we saw the Coyotes get the win over Vegas 4-1. The Anaheim Ducks coming off a loss. John Gibson expected here. I can't get behind either of these teams. These teams do not deserve my money. I will not get behind a Ducks team that is 2-6 in their last 8 meetings in Arizona, 3-7 in their last 10 meetings overall, or a Coyotes team that can stand up and beat a team like Vegas, but versus a team with a winning percentage below 400, hasn't won any of the last 5 games. I can't get behind either of these teams. I would not take a side to save my life. With how bad these defenses are, I lean to that over 6.5. But in this one, you're counting on 2 terrible teams that both average under 3 goals per game to actually open up and score some goals. Again, I'm not counting on these teams to do anything. If you want to take something, I would lean to that over 6.5, because the Anaheim Ducks are allowing 4.19 goals per game on average and 38.8 shots on goal. These shots are going to come in by the Arizona Coyotes, who are one of the worst teams at getting shots on goal, only averaging 25.2 shots on goal per game, but giving up 34.5 and 3.57 goals per game. This is going to be an ugly one. I'm not betting it, you guys. I love going over every game with you guys here, but I will always be honest with you. There is a lot of these games that I'm not rushing to the window. That's why we do this long shot parlay, and that's why I tell you my best bets of the day. Because games like the Arizona Coyotes and the Anaheim Ducks, I'm not betting it. So why would I tell you guys to bet it? I just give you the lean. If you want to bet it, I take the over. The Washington Capitals and the Colorado Avalanche. Now, this is an interesting one. Cale Makar, that's one thing I wanted to look at, and I haven't looked at Cale Makar this morning to see if he is back in this game because he has been a day-to-day. It's saying he's still out with an upper body injury. So stay tuned. No, it's saying he won't play. So he's not playing here for the Colorado Avalanche. They have been playing so phenomenally strong, even without Cale Makar. I think it would have been a nice added boost. You guys should see there is like a whole family of deer walking past my sidewalk. There is like 6 of them that have gone past now. So sorry for my distraction, but they've won their last 5, and they won that whole road trip. It was a 3-game road trip. They won all 3 of those. Now they're returning home. They got 3 games at home. They beat the Washington Capitals the last time out 4-0 back in November. They got the sweep. The Capitals, though, they have been strong. The underdogs being strong. The underdog winning 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two. Capitals 6-1 in the last 7 meetings in Colorado. The Avs, though, versus the Met. This team is strong, going 7-2 in their last 9. They're also coming in here rested, going 14-4 on their last 2 days of rest. They've lost their last 6 first periods following overtime for the Avs here, which we know they're coming in off an overtime win. So it could be an interesting way to take it. I'm not sure if I'm going to back them here in this one, but I do lean on the Washington Capitals with the Avs coming off such a successful road trip, now returning home. It was a 5-game road trip. I love to fade teams off of those road trips in these situations. And especially when we look at the Capitals, how they've done versus the Colorado Avalanche. Cale Makar still out, and I know they've been winning without him, but I still think the Washington Capitals, with Kemper expected in goal tonight, have the opportunity to pull off this upset. They've lost their last 2 games, the last one to Vegas, 6-2. This is their last game of a 3-game road trip. They got the Penguins on deck, which is a battle of the Metro. I believe that is on Thursday. So that's my only concern here. But I do think they should be able to get it done. Ovechkin, I'm pretty sure Ovechkin should be in for this one. Let me just double. He's day-to-day with that lower body. So he's a game time decision tonight. So this might be a good one for you to just wait and see. Wait and see if you should bet this one. So wait to see with Ovechkin game time decision. I lean on the Washington Capitals here, and I think they should be able to pull this off. But again, with Ovechkin, maybe, maybe not. You guys can wait and see on this one. Yeah, the deers definitely want to hear my hockey bets. They're actually just all standing in my yard now. Like I'm going to come out and feed them any moment. So I'm not sure what they're doing out there. Now we got a total of 6 in this one. We got elite goalies. We've got really strong defenses. Both these defenses doing phenomenally well. I think this one is a hard one at 6. If it was 6.5, I'd be taking it under. At 6, I kind of just want to stay off this total here. So not the easiest game to cap here, but if Ovechkin, if he gets announced in, I'd take the Washington Capitals, and if not, I'd probably stay off this game. The last game on the board, the Chicago Blackhawks and the Vancouver Canucks. Now, this one kicks off at 10 o'clock Eastern. We have plus 190 for the Chicago Blackhawks, Vancouver Canucks minus 225. We know Bruce is gone, Bruce Boudreau, for the Vancouver Canucks. They also let the assistant coach go. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. So new coaching staff in Vancouver, which can make things go one of 2 ways. This team, I don't think Bruce had lost the locker room. I think this team really was struggling, and it wasn't all on their head coach. I hate what Vancouver did. I hate what they did to him. I love what the fans did, and I love how the fans really stood behind him because he was very emotional, and this was really hard to watch. So when we look at this, will this team have a bounce back win? I'm not sure. Not sure I can get there on that puck line with them. If they support the changes, if they support the coaching changes, they should have a huge bounce back win here over the Chicago Blackhawks. This should be one they should be able to get things done. But if they're still uncertain about these changes and there's still conflicts, because I think there's more conflicts between the team than there ever was between the team and the coaching staff, I think we're still going to see struggles here. So the best way I think to take this one is to look at that total and take it under 6.5. The last 4 meetings have gone to that under. We haven't seen a lot out of the Chicago Blackhawks offensively. They're only averaging that 2.4. I do think they'll struggle to score. Even though Vancouver has a terrible defense, I think what we're going to see is a stronger defensive game in this one. Now, Dila is confirmed in goal for the Vancouver Canucks. I'm expecting this one to stay under that total. It's the only way I could go. You could also look at the Blackhawks team total, taking that under as well. Yeah, the Canucks absolutely, they need new ownership. This is not a coaching problem. The GM needs to go as well. How he treated Bruce was absolutely appalling. And I would love to see the Vancouver Canucks just have a phenomenal game, but it's just really hard in this one. Let's look at that's all the games. That's all the games on the board. So you guys, I see all your comments coming in here. We are sitting at that 41-minute and 40-second mark. I'm going to get these bookmarks up. I apologize not for getting them up yesterday. So if you want breakdowns of all of these games, we're just going to do the recap as fast as we can, build this parlay as fast as we can. And remember, there's a lot of these dogs that I'm liking +1.5, not straight up, putting together. And putting a little bit of a dog +1.5 parlay together because I think there is value on these games being tight. So let's recap all of these. We'll move fast through these. The Boston Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens. Now, I'm going to lean on the Bruins team total over 3.5. This team can put up the goals. I would lean on Montreal's team total under. This team just so struggling. But the main reason is the defense of the Boston Bruins. What they've been able to do against stronger opponents as of late on the defensive side has been absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, this is a hard one to find value in. I'm not finding very much value at all out there. The Boston Bruins team total is too highly juiced. With this under 6, it is scary. We see situations like last night where that Leafs game, the Leafs got those 5 goals, so it pushed us over. The Leafs would have just stopped at 4. We would have at least pushed on that 6. A lot of these games, when we have such strong opponents, I like the under for the full game because I don't trust the opposition. Sometimes just taking their team total over for the stronger team is the better way to go because this team can find the back of the net. So for the parlay, I'm going to take the Bruins team total over 3.5 because I definitely think they can get 4 goals on the struggling Montreal Canadiens here. Now, if you like the Boston Bruins here, you're going to have to grab them laying 2.5 on that puck line, but they have covered the puck line in their last 4 as a favorite. Again, those puck lines were 1.5. So I caution you on that, but they're playing the Montreal Canadiens. So it could be a nice winner there if you have enough faith. I just don't have enough faith. The Florida Panthers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. I love the Penguins here. On the money line for the parlay, for a best bet, I'm going to take the Penguins in regulation just to get that value in this game. I think in 60 minutes, such stronger way to take this. Just let me see what that value is again. Sorry, one sec. My book is just loading really slow. The Penguins in 60 minutes with no push is coming in at -106. So I think that is a really solid bet in this game today. The next game on the board, the LA Kings versus the Philadelphia Flyers. I am cautious with the LA Kings here on the puck line. I don't trust them in this game on the puck line because I think this is a tight game. I think you could take the Philadelphia Flyers here on that puck line. These are one of these teams that I think they play really tight because I think this is a lower scoring game. I'm going to take the Kings and the Flyers under 6 for the parlay. because I think that one comes nicely under that total. But again, I'm going to take the Flyers. We'll build another dog parlay plus that 1.5. I think it's a nice way to go on that puck line. The Minnesota Wild and the Tampa Bay Lightning. I lean on the Wild here with Marc-Andre Fleury. Stevie, I believe, threw out that stat on Marc-Andre Fleury going 21-10. Correct me if I'm wrong, versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. I absolutely love that stat. Again, I haven't confirmed this, but that's what Stevie is saying. So if you guys are seeing the same thing, it really stands behind why I like the Minnesota Wild here. I really do think they have every opportunity. They have won 7 of the last 8 meetings over Tampa, and I don't like the scheduling spot here for the Tampa Bay Lightning with the Bruins on deck on Thursday, home off a road trip. So give me the Minnesota Wild. I also lean on the over. I think both of these defenses have shown their struggles as of late, so I lean on that over 6.5. For the parlay, I think this is one where you could take, again, the Wild plus 1.5. I'm going to throw that into a dog parlay after, so I'm going to leave it out of this one. I lean on that over 6.5. I think this is a game that could go to overtime 3-3. So give me the Wild and the Lightning over 6.5 for the parlay. Again, I'll recap this parlay at the end as well. The San Jose Sharks and the Detroit Red Wings. The only way I can take this is taking that over 6.5. I think we see a lot of goals. Both these teams absolutely struggling to keep the puck out of the back of the net. I don't trust either of these teams to get the win. The Red Wings should get the win on their home ice. But would I bet my firstborn child on it? Absolutely not. It's just these teams just struggling. The Red Wings, so just trying to stay in the mix of things. So give me the over 6.5. The Vegas Golden Knights and the New Jersey Devils. This is going to be absolutely an epic game on that ice. Now, I love Vegas here with that plus money. And yes, I know they just lost to the Coyotes, and they are a stronger team on the road, but they lost to the Coyotes on the road. But I do think this is a nice bounce back game for them. I'm not going to bet a lot on this. This is going to be a sprinkle on Vegas plus 1.5. Again, I'm going to put Vegas plus 1.5 in like a separate parlay. This is going to be a sprinkle on Vegas plus 145 on that money line, because I do think this one is tight, comes down to a little bit of puck luck. And now with this total 6, I have to lean to the over, and that's what I'm going to put in the parlay. Vegas and the Devils over 6. I do see this one probably going 3-3, going to OT as well. So it's going to be the best game on the ice. I can't wait to watch this game, you guys. Again, Jack Hughes for that anytime goal. We know he's going to light up the freaking net. He's absolutely been money for us this year. I will take him every single game until he goes absolutely cold. This kid is not going cold. He's going to be such a phenomenal player as he progresses in the NHL here. So give me the over in this game. I'm sprinkling on Vegas on that money line. The Buffalo Sabres and the St. Louis Blues. Sabres and Blues over 1.5 in that first period. You're going to pay juice at minus 174. Again, I can throw this in the parlay and not care. Anthony threw out the Buffalo Sabres and the St. Louis Blues, both teams to score in that first period. That was plus money. Top of my head, I can't remember what plus money that was. Excellent way to go. Both of these teams can find the back of that net. This total has dropped from 7 down to 6.5, which I'm completely shocked by. 4-3 game all day long in this one. So I'm going to ride the over 6.5. Again, if you like one team over the other, we're getting the St. Louis Blues over 3.5 at plus 100. I do like this the best because St. Louis is coming in rested. We've seen the Buffalo Sabres really struggle against the St. Louis Blues, but both of these teams absolutely scoring. So if you have faith in the Buffalo Sabres here, you can get their team total over 3.5 at plus 140. Absolutely phenomenal value for a team that averages 3.78 goals per game against Jordan Binnington in goal for the St. Louis Blues, who has shown his struggles. Langen expected here for the Buffalo Sabres, who is allowing 3.36, and the Blues averaging that 3.11. Off the rest, I think the St. Louis Blues definitely get 4 goals in this. I think Buffalo Very well could get over their total too, but at St. Louis, I trust in more because the Buffalo Sabres are on that back-to-back. So I'm going to put for the parlay the St. Louis Blues over 3.5. It's my favorite bet of this game. It's also one of my favorite bets of the day because that over 3.5 is coming in at plus 100. And you guys know I love that value there. Okay, the next one, the Winnipeg Jets and the Nashville Predators. I lean on the Winnipeg Jets, even though I know Connor Hellebuck isn't as strong on the road as he is at home. I do think the Winnipeg Jets can get this done versus the Nashville Predators. But again, this is a tight game. The Preds plus 1.5 is an interesting way to go with a parlay. I think this one stays under that total of 5.5. Am I rushing to bet an under 5.5? Absolutely not. But if you guys remember 3-4 years ago, people would laugh at you if you were taking over 5.5 on a hockey game. These games have been coming out so high scoring as of late, with 6.5 being the new standard, 6.5. Getting a 5.5, keeping it under is a stressful way to bet. I can't get there with the under 5.5, but I do think it goes under 5.5. I think the Winnipeg Jets is the best on the money line. I'm minus 120, but for parlay reasons, I love the Preds plus 100 or plus 1.5. The Anaheim Ducks and the Arizona Coyotes, like I said, you guys, stay away completely for me. I don't trust either of these teams to do anything they're supposed to do out there on the ice. I feel like we have a bunch of little kids out here, and I know they're not little kids, just not able to find the back of the nets. Their defense is allowing so many goals to come in. One team has to win, which is a good thing. These teams are unpredictable in what they're going to do. The Arizona Coyotes play down to opponents that have losing records, but play up to teams like Vegas. And then the Ducks have struggled in Arizona. So I can't get behind either of these teams. If you want to bet it, I lean on the over 6.5. I don't love it. I don't love this game at all. So it's a stay off for me. I'm not throwing it in any parlays. Not betting either team anyway. The Washington Capitals and the Colorado Avalanche. Again, let's see what Ovechkin is doing in this one. If Ovechkin is in, I feel more confident in the Capitals, and I love the value at plus 110 with the Capitals. If this comes down to a game time decision that he is in, right before when we get that announcement, this line is going to move so fast. You won't get the Washington Capitals at plus 110. I still have faith in them with how they have played versus the Colorado Avalanche to get this win today. So I'm going to take the Capitals plus 110 here. Hold my breath for this game because it's going to be a hard one here versus the Avs here at home, who are now off a road trip, but so phenomenally strong, winning their last 5 games. They swept those last 3 on the road. I think it could be a letdown spot, but we look at the Caps. They got the Penguins on deck. That is my only concern here. So this is going to be a battle. This is going to come down to some puck luck. But I would take the Capitals. I'm leaving this one out of the parlay. The Chicago Blackhawks and the Vancouver Canucks. This could be a huge bounce back win here for the Vancouver Canucks. I don't know if it will be. I think what we saw, how this coaching change happened, that this team, there is still problems with the team. It wasn't with the coaching. We saw those players stay out on the ice for Bruce Bouchard there. And I feel for him completely. I'm not sure if the team is going to rally behind everything that's happened as of late, but I don't trust the Chicago Blackhawks. So when I look at this game, we got a total of 6.5. I don't trust in the Chicago Blackhawks to score. I think if anything, this one stays under the 6.5. Again, I'm leaving this one out the parlay. So let's look at some, let's recap this parlay, and then let's build another underdog parlay. So for the long shot parlay, which you guys just sprinkle on the long shot parlays for all of these to come in. We have seen it happen, but it's a sprinkle, okay? The Bruins team total over 3.5. The Penguins on the money line. The Kings and the Flyers under 6. The Wild and the Lightning over 6.5. The Sharks and the Red Wings over 6.5. The Vegas Golden Knights and the New Jersey Devils over 6. The St. Louis Blues team total over 3.5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 7-leg parlay out of all 11 games on the board today. Now, I think The best bets of the day is the Penguins here in regulation. You're getting that at -106. I absolutely love that. The St. Louis Blues team total over 3.5 at +100. You guys know how much I love the Wild. I'm sprinkling on the Wild here on the money line. I just can't get past the value. But I think another really solid way to bet these games is all 4 of these dogs I love on the puck line. So you can take all 4, parlay all 4 of these dogs on the puck line, or take a combination of any of these 2 or 3. I love the Wild +1.5 on the puck line, the Flyers +1.5 on the puck line, the Vegas Golden Knights +1.5 on the puck line, and the Nashville Predators +1.5 on that puck line. So taking any of these on that puck line combined together is going to give you some value against the books. Remember, when you're betting parlays, it's hard to win parlays. You need multiple things to happen. The books love when we bet parlays. They really do. But I think in this case, looking at these games, really strong with Vegas +1.5. I think that's my favorite here on that puck line. Vegas and the Minnesota Wild. So taking those 2 +1.5 on that puck line, I think you're going to find some value on that. And yeah, you could sprinkle on the Blackhawks +1.5 on that puck line or that money line as well. They have every opportunity to pull off that win. I just don't know if I trust the Vancouver Canucks at the moment. I think it's a really emotional team right now. So, and I don't know if the coaching changes are going to make things better. We're going to have to wait and see. If Vancouver comes out and has a really strong, dominating performance, Bruce had lost the locker room, but I don't think he had. I think this comes down to, this is ownership. This is GM. This is not pretty what's happening in Vancouver right now. +411 for all those at +1.5. Damn, I really like that, Anthony. So you guys get those in, grab those strong teams. You look at the Wild in Vegas, grabbing them +1.5 on the puck line. Really strong way to go. The Flyers, we've got question marks behind the Flyers, but Carter Hart expected in goal. So all the best today, you guys, in all of your bets. Again, I do like the Sabres and the Blues that first period over 1.5 as well. Again, it's too juiced at -1.5. So if you're looking at the Sabres and the Blues over 1.5 in that first period, you could look at another team that I think goes over in that first period. I would probably look at the Sharks and the Red Wings. But again, then you're counting on 2 bad teams. The Wild and the Lightning. I lean to that one going over in the first half as well. Let's just see what the juice is on the Wild and the Lightning going over that 1.5. I know we've got fantastic goaltending, but we know both of these teams so explosive. Total goals over 1.5 in that first period is -142. So definitely a great way we can go with that one. You guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me here each and every day on Pocket with Joe. I appreciate each and every one of you. I want to wish you all the best in all of your bets tonight. Let's make some freaking money on the ice. I'll be back here tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern. Bye, guys.